staff member Kyle Hartz to announce the results.
All right, hello everyone. Thank you very much for everyone who participated in straw poll. We had over 420 people who were participating in it. So let's just get right into it. So, the Democratic primary for 2016 round today, 57% says they would not vote in primary. Number is rising. Followed in second by 15% saying that they're principled non-voters, and 12% saying they'd vote for Joe Biden. Moving on. For the Libertarian primary, 57% said they'd vote for Gary Johnson, 22% they wouldn't vote in the primary at all, and 14% are principled non-voters, again. And for the Republican primary, 55% said Rand Paul, followed by 13% who are principled non-voters. Mark Rubio tied with I would not vote in the Republican primary at 11%, followed by Chris Christie and Ted Cruz. 52% of the people here describe themselves as libertarian, 17% classical liberal, 15% as anarchists, 10% as pro-liberty, and progressive, Tea Party conservative objectivists not getting a very high showing. When it comes to markets, 62% of the people here believe markets should be completely unregulated. It's followed by 22% say it should be mostly unregulated. 2% believe that we should have widespread regulation along with growth in specific industries. And parts of the economy should be entirely controlled, 2%, and all economic activity should be controlled as 11%, which I hope is survey error. When it comes to the drug war, 56% said all drugs should be legalized. 19% says that marijuana should be legalized, all their drugs decriminalized. 8% all drugs decriminalized. 3% said only marijuana should be decriminalized, and all drugs should remain legal is 14%. So we have a lot more work to do among our own people. And which issue is the most important? Civil liberties came out strong with 21%, followed by drug policy at 16%, and debt in third at 10%, and national security all the way down to 4%. And that is the entire straw poll, so thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see how it goes.
So our conference is unfortunately coming to a bittersweet end. I hope you all really enjoyed it, because I really did. I would like you all to give it up for our president and a co-founder of SFL, Alexander McCullough.
So first off, can we get another round of applause for Ethan Nadelman's fantastic This is always a bittersweet moment for me, because I've ended the International Students for Liberty Conference every year. And just as I opened the conference by thinking about the first year, I want to do the same thing again. 6 years ago, there were only 4 other people who helped put together that first conference for 100 attendees, and it was a remarkable event. We actually invited everyone to the stage at that point because we had a small stage, but an even smaller group of people who put the event together. Nowadays, we have a slightly larger stage, but unfortunately, we have literally hundreds of individuals in Students for Liberty's leadership who made this conference possible. And while I wish we could invite all of them up here to make sure they receive their due recognition for the hard work they put in, I'd like to right now invite everyone on Students for Liberty's staff and the International Executive Board to come up here to thank you for everything you've put in over this past year and to make this conference possible. And while we're coming on stage, I'd like to ask everyone else in Students for Liberty's leadership to stand up as I call the leadership program that you're a part of. Students for Liberty's North American Executive Board and Campus Coordinator Program. Thank you so much for your leadership. European Executive Board and local coordinators who made it out right now. Estudiantes for la Libertad's Executive Board and local coordinators who are here. Estudiantes para la Libertad's Executive Board and local coordinators here. All of our charter team members from the rest of the world who made it out to the conference. And as we get older, we have more individuals who have graduated from Students for Liberty's programs. I'd like to thank the Alumni for Liberty Board for all the hard work they've done this year and this weekend. Please take it. Now that we have our staff on stage, there are two individuals in particular I'd like to just step forward because they were the people who truly made this conference possible. Please give a round of applause to Students for Liberty's Events Associate, Stephen Duke, and especially our Director of Events, Kelly Jemison. This year, we actually ran Students for Liberty's first donor retreat, so all the supporters who make our conferences, our leadership training programs, our books, and the entire organization possible to come here and actually see the fruits of their labor. Please let's give them a round of applause to thank them for making all of this possible. And of course, I want to thank all of the International Students for Liberty Conference's sponsors, especially our partner-level sponsors, the Cato Institute, the Future of Freedom Foundation, the Institute for Humane Studies, the Atlas Society, and Young Americans for Liberty, as well as our gold-level sponsors, the Atlas Network, Freedom Works, and the Friedman Foundation for Educational Choice. Yes, let's get When we held the first Students for Liberty conference, we used the closing ceremonies to announce that what we had originally thought would be a one-time conference would turn into a nonprofit organization with year-round resources for students. It was an evolution that we did not predict when we started putting that first conference together, and we actually originally called the Northeast Students for Liberty Conference. And so I want to use this forum as an opportunity to make another announcement. While this weekend has been a tremendous event, the culmination of a year of incredible successes and growth, we are not done growing. The Liberty Movement is only beginning what I believe will be a long and arduous, but ultimately fruitful journey that will change the world. And it's important for us to help those students and leaders of Liberty who want to promote this movement in their parts of the world. So it's my pleasure to announce that Students for Liberty will be establishing 2 new regional executive boards next year, in Africa and India, Nepal. These regions will join North America, Europe, Brazil, and the Spanish-speaking Americas, which already have regional executive boards. And it gives me great optimism for the prospects of growing Students for Liberty truly all over the world. We've already seen incredible successes from both of these regions. The first African Regional Conference in Ibadan, Nigeria drew over 350 attendees in July. Last year, African Students for Liberty in Nigeria won the Event of the Year award for their performance of Jonathan Gullible at campuses across the country. And this year, Isaac Danford from Tanzania won the Student of the Year award for his incredible work. In India, Nepal, students have already held free speech wall events on campuses around the country. They're raising their own money within their regions. They even raised over $5,000 to buy a Braille printer to produce classical liberal literature for the blind in their areas across the region. The Student Movement for Liberty is larger and more international than any other student movement today. And if anyone here wants to join the leadership of the Student Movement for Liberty, or Students for Liberty in particular, there's still time for you to go to the Students for Liberty table outside and inquire and let them know that you're interested in the Campus Coordinator Program, the European Local Coordinator Program, our Charter Teams Program, or anything else that we offer. And of course, I have to make a plug that if you're not going to be a student anymore, you can remain involved by joining Alumni for Liberty. By donating just $10 a month, you will not only be providing the resources to help build this international student movement for liberty, but you will also be joining a community to stay involved when you're no longer living next door to the same individuals that you meet with on a weekly basis for your events. We face a great many challenges in our work for liberty, ranging from oppressive dictatorships to snowstorms. But it's important to remember that we are winning. The Student Movement for Liberty has grown from a handful of students in 2008 to well over 1,000 students today. We don't have the final number for this weekend's conference, but it was tremendous. We can see the success of libertarianism on the ground when we interact with students, and others are beginning to take notice as well. When major media publications like The Economist and Politico start publishing stories saying that this generation is more libertarian than any other, you know that we're winning. And when more libertarian students can gather together for a conference than any other political philosophy can bring together, be it socialist, conservative, or liberal, you know that we are winning. And I hope everyone... So in that thread, I hope everyone will mark their calendars for February 13th to 15th to come back to Washington, D.C. for the 8th annual Students for Liberty Conference at the Marriott Waterman Park, not too far away from here. It's going to be a tremendous weekend, even bigger and better than this year. And I can't wait to hear about everything that you've done over the next year at that event. I hope you've all learned a great deal this weekend. I hope you have new ideas for how to promote liberty on your campuses. And most of all, I hope you're more energized and excited to spread these ideas of liberty back home than you were before you came here this weekend. Have a safe trip home, everyone. I'm looking forward to seeing you next year back here in Washington, D.C.